This is the end of every podcast that we ever record. Hello, welcome to the John's Jam Sessions podcast with me, your host, John. And fittingly enough for this episode, I am, in fact, alone. I thought this would just kind of be a bit of a. We're not really going to do like a full length episode like usual, but there was no way I wasn't going to do a review of this album fresh off its release for this podcast. So, we're going to I'll give it a good review and then maybe waffle on about a few other things that have gone on with The Cure recently. But this is kind of not really like your conventional episodes. So, if you're not really a fan of The Cure or you haven't really listened to this album yet, I wouldn't really feel obliged in listening to this episode. Just kind of see this as a little bonus thing. We've got Mike back next week, and I'm really looking forward to the next episode we're doing. I think it's going to be a really fun one, pretty much on top with the worst songs of our youth. We're doing the best songs of our youth. So please stick around for that. But anyway, yeah, the cards haven't been stacked against me recently. Just I've been ill again. Don't you hate that when you get ill with like a kind of flu thing, and you get over it and you think, oh, that's great. Now my body would have built up a nice bit of immunity to this. Now I can get on with my life. And then a few weeks later, you get hit with it again, and you're oh, fucking hell. So me voice is a bit coarse, I'm a bit sniffly and coughy, and then I just feel crap. Of course, I had to get sick on the release of the new Cure album, didn't I? Of course I did. That's what I mean. And then my laptop screen is broken as well, which is fantastic. So I think I'm still under the 1 year warranty. So hopefully get a new laptop. But I'm hoping it doesn't cause. I'm hoping it doesn't cause any major delays to the podcast. It shouldn't do, as I say. Swap round, get a new laptop. Yeah, so life's just been throwing it all at me, as you can imagine. Another comment I'd like to make, and I've noticed quite a few people have suffered with this as well, is I did order the album off the Cure website. I ordered it on the exclusive white vinyl. I ordered the free disc CD set, with the Blu-ray and the extra instrumentals disc. I also got myself a cassette just to kind of complete the set, so to say. It's not here. It didn't come. I haven't even got a dispatch email yet. So day release, I had to go into work. Luckily, it was an early finish, which was good. I was feeling like absolute crap, dying of just flu and horribleness. Managed to drive myself into town, pick the album up, got home, had a full listen, and then I went to bed. And then I was up later and I watched the live stream concert, which was just absolutely brilliant, by the way. Absolutely loved that. Loved hearing the album live in full. And, it was a nice full 30 plus long set. We got secrets. We got our own kind of like 17-second section, which was really cool. If I've got a gripe, listen, it's just purely me at this point, is like, I'm a little bit kind of like tired of hearing disintegration tracks all the time. I would like some stuff off Wish and other albums kind of chucked in, maybe stuff off Pornography, but that's just my gripe. I've seen them plenty of times. I've watched plenty of the live concerts. You do kind of hear a lot of the disintegration tracks a lot, and I think their set lists have been a little bit similar in the past 5 or so years. So that's just one little tiny gripe. Another funny comment to make was the minor mistake from Roger on Secrets when he's playing the piano and he gets the key on his face. That was hilarious. That whatever happened during Friday I'm in Love as well. That was pretty funny as well. But that's it. It's great to see a band being natural. We all I've cocked up like probably hundreds of times playing gigs. Like, I don't think I've ever done a full set start to finish without one single error, and they were usually 20 to 30 minutes. So you can only imagine, how tasking a 3 hour gig is for a band. So, absolutely no disrespect to them there. It was just quite fun. It's just funny to kind of see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's just kind of get into this album review. Cure fans, you all know how long we've waited for this. How much it's at times almost felt torturous to just get this out. What's going on with this album? What's going on with this album? And I'll get into that as we get into the album. As you can imagine, with such a long wait for albums, like you always start doubting it a little bit and worrying, and you're like, is this it's funny really because this has been brought up on the podcast before. I think the major time I really got into it was when we reviewed The Crow. I think episode 13 that was. And you can really tell that there was no news at that point. I was really frustrated. I was like, "This album's not coming out. I've given up hope, and it's probably not going to be very good." So it's kind of funny to look back and see how wrong I was on that. So yeah, again, we'll dive right into this. So we open up with Alone. This is the song I've had the most time with it being released as the first single. What was it now? About, oh God, was it about 2 months ago? 2 months ago? So I'm well accustomed to it now, but when it first came out, that like the emotions were wild. Like it really did, like, whoa, it was such kind of like a shock to hear The Cure again. At least in like studio. Like a new music from the back there. It really felt crazy. I love like the dreamy feels of this song. I kind of love them piano keys like din 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 din, kind of gently playing over it. Like this song kind of makes me vision like a flock of birds. It's kind of got that effect. It's like they use it on like cockatoos as well, and I can imagine like a big flock of birds flying over an endless sea. I wasn't super keen on the drums at first, but I have gotten used to them, and they're kind of snappy punch. They do help kind of stand out against the kind of the gloominess of the Sims, really. So Robert Smith's vocals are amazing. Like the emotion he displays in every word, they're so devastating. Like them striking lines. It's at the end of every song we sing. Where did it go? Where did it go? There's so much kind of like reflection on this album. This is a Robert Smith entering, I hate to say it, entering the twilight years of his life now. He's well into his 60s. It's a time for a lot of kind of reflection, a lot of looking back, isn't it? So yeah, Alone, great starter. We're off to a great start here, and then we get into Nothing Is Forever. Oh man, just what a heartbreaking song. The lovely kind of lifting intro that lifts and then suddenly hits you with like a hint of sadness. I believe this is a song about Robert not being able to be there for someone that they're passing, despite his promise that he would. It kills. I love the bass that kind of brings it up and up and up and then brings it back down. One thing I have to say about this album is it definitely does feel like a group effort. You can truly hear each member's unique style and sound, from like Simon's crunchy, loose overdrive bass to Reeves' guitar scream shreds, just going mad with all the noise and sound on the guitar. Roger and his kind of piano parts, just the drumming and all that. Everything sounds unique. It sounds like the band working together to write this album. Where that's definitely been the case for the band as a whole, but there has been areas of the band where you can kind of feel like, this is just Robert Smith trying to steer the ship, you know what I mean? So I've really got to give like credit to that. It just does feel like everyone's coming together. This is like a lineup that they've had for about a decade now. Obviously, Simon, long-time member. Roger, he has been in and out, but he's pretty much been a Jason on the drums. It's not the lineup from the previous album. The Cure are just constantly kind of having changes in lineups, but this one seems to be the one that's going to stick now, at least for the rest of their career. Yeah, I would hope. And obviously now Perry's joined on board with the live shows as well. So yeah, Nothing Is Forever, probably one of my favourite songs off the album. There's like really standout songs on this album that like these are the songs that really kind of showcase this album. This is what this album's about. Just last thing on and Nothing Is Forever, the vocals and the lyrics, they just tear me up. Promise you'll be with me in the end. Despite knowing the meaning, feel as if it's being like directed at me a little bit and the fans as well. I can certainly promise I'll be with this band till the end. The song is of pure beauty, as I say. Probably one of my favourites off the album. Then we move into a Fragile Thing. I like this song. Don't love it. There's a lot of parts, riffs, moments of the music I really enjoy. Maybe it's just that it doesn't compare with what's before or after. I'm just pleasant with this song, but like I'm not over the moon. Like when it originally came out, second single on the lead up to the release, kind of sat there after listening to it, and I was a bit like, Okay, all right. Let's try it again and again. And as I gave it more listens, I start picking up on more things in the song, and I'm like enjoying it a lot more. I like the keys on this again, giving the song a real sense of like anxiety. I love kind of like the simplicity of the guitar parts and the solos and the riffs. Nothing you can do but sing. This love is a fragile thing. That like scratches something in my head. That it's like a nice melody. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say. I just don't love it as much as I do the other songs. That probably the most critical I'm going to get with this album, which is a good sign, really, isn't it? Then we get into War Song with some pretty RuneScape coded intro there. That kind of almost sounds like a bit sea shanty-ish, doesn't it? But like, and then we get into God, them Simpson effects on this track. The song just sounds like evil. It matches the title of kind of Songs of a Lost World perfectly. It's got like otherworldly and ancient civilization vibes, I think. Robert really gives like a rage-filled performance on this track, and Reeves is allowed to just hammer off and go mad on the guitar and like beat it to death almost. The lyrics, I want your death, you want my life. I just wish there was more to this song from the vocals. It just seems like, and this is a criticism I've heard from other people who've listened to this album, is it does seem like long intro, long build up, short little section of vocals, and then kind of end of the song. I do feel this with War Song a little bit. I feel like I would have liked more from it. What exactly I would have wanted, I can't really tell you. So, it is what it is kind of thing. That ends side one of the vinyl anyway, and we flip it over to side B. And we get Drone No Drone, a song I believe was inspired from a drone flying over Robert Smith's house. Obviously, some kind of super fan, and that's something worth getting into altogether, isn't it? Really, it's kind of like parasocial relationship between the fans and the band. I think I'm in a lot of Cure communities. I've spoken with a lot of Cure fans. I've been on the Holy Hour podcast before. I think there really is a solid, loyal, great fan base with this band, but like with every band and artist, you always have that kind of parasocial relationship where you feel as if you kind of have the right to intrude on the band's privacy sometimes, and that is bad. That's something we all have to watch out for, really, isn't it? Like, I consider myself a massive fan, but I really kind of feel like I do kind of have a relationship with the band, even though I obviously don't. But I have kind of seen some people out there where like they just seem like so kind of thick in it, like deep in the woods with it, and it's a bit like, all right, like pull back a bit, like pull back a bit. You don't have to be this obsessed with the band, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, Drone No Drone. This song, I have to admit, has taken a few listens to grow on me, but personally, it's the weakest track on the album for me. Gives me strong 413 Dream vibes. It's fine. I do like the angry pumping bass of boom 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 throughout it though. Again, everything coming off it is top form. Can't really complain, but it just again, maybe it's just in competition with such other fantastic songs on this album that it just doesn't really manage to fight its way to the top for me. So yeah, No Drone was all right, but not the best song off the album. I don't think. I think people disagree because I've really heard a lot of praise for this song, but it's got like a catchy little hook in the chorus. They're like down, down, down. Da, 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 da. But for me, it kind of just harpens back to that kind of messy, chaotic 413 kind of vibe for me. It kind of just it kind of brings up a bit of like, oh yeah, we did get that kind of run of albums where things were just a little all over the shop. Can never say goodbye. Another terribly sad song about the death of Robert's brother. Something wicked this way comes to steal away my brother's life. This song is truly just crashing with sadness. The distortion of the guitar playing away to like the soft piano and the overwhelming synths. It's just like a match of frustration and sadness. It really is. You've got the rain and thunder effects playing over it at the start and the end. Really a sad song, and this really does match kind of the album's aim to be a doom and gloom Cure album. Very sad song. And then we get into All I Ever Am. Great bass coming from Simon on the intro of this track. I like this track a lot. I think it's got a great build up. I feel like this song had legs to be one of the singles leading up to the album. They would definitely swap this with A Fragile Thing. But again, I think they didn't want to give away the songs that hadn't been performed live yet, maybe. So, they held off on this one. I think the chorus is great. This album has been like full of reflections. I love like that siren like riff, that like I can't keep a tune to save my life today. I'm so ill. I'm really sorry, guys. I'll fix it in the edit. It's a faster paced jam on this album. Gives me a little bit of Wild Mood Swings vibes, a little bit. Robert just doesn't let up at all. He's really been pouring his heart out on this album. Again, a song that I just don't have like tons and tons to say. It's great. I love it. It is nice to have a more faster paced, a more rockier kind of track on this album that has a lot of kind of dreamy, spacey kind of songs on it. It's a nice blend. And then we get into End Song. I don't like to throw out the word masterpiece, but this is definitely something. This stands out amongst the great Cure tracks to me, like Disintegration, Plain Songs, even like Blood Flowers and like 100 Years. I love the long build up. Like, although I did kind of use it as a bit of a gripe before, I think this song, like, I would happily have this song go on forever. Like, I would happily it be like 30 minutes long. I love the riff, like. Like the guitar is just so angry and just that, and then you've got kind of like Robert hitting that riff, and then fucking Reeves is just going at it with the effects, the pedals, the guitar, that like the guitar focus on this song is really good. I really love it. Again, I love the long build up on this. Alone sounds dreamy and inviting in a way. This sounds fucking devastating. Pure gloom and doom. The only issue is that it just can't do the song justice to how fucking great it sounds live. It sounds amazing live. It's one of the best live tracks I've ever heard. I heard this song 2 years ago. Well, I heard about 40 songs 2 years ago, but the one that stuck out with me and I just did not forget the sound and how it went was End Song. And I remember like being really like gutted at the end of the gig, thinking like, when will I hear End Song again? I need to hear End Song again. So it was a long 2 year wait, I have to say. And on that live stream concert and the BBC sessions, it just sounded fucking phenomenal. Great song, this. It has to be listened to live. I don't think there's been a song this kind of gut punching and dark since anything off Pornography. The guitars are just insane. The bass is like blasting, sweet little riffs. The song is best closer ever. It upsets me that the album's over at this point. We circle back round to the end of every song. It's like a companion piece to Alone. And Robert Smith did say, like, what once Alone and End Song were done, that was it. The album was it was like off to the races then. So yeah, it just. I guess it's time to like sum up the album, isn't it? I have to admit it's not been an easy 5+ years awaiting this album. At one point, I did completely lose hope, and even then, I was terrified of the production hell giving us the Cure Chinese democracy. But now all is forgiven, and I'm finally at peace. Not only have this band shown strength by only releasing an album that needs releasing, but also the restraint with its track list. The time of 8-track albums was lost with the advent of CDs. But I'm glad that this album is 8 solid songs. It doesn't overstay its welcome with like a lofty 13 plus. Saying that, I would have loved one more track maybe. It could never be the same, perhaps. Or yeah, that song that was played during the 2016 tour. Although I do feel like it is a bit too similar to I Could Never Say Goodbye. So I could see that, not, it was either one or the other. And obviously Robert wanted to choose I Can Never Say Goodbye. Of course, I'm going to be biased with this, but it is confronting to kind of see everyone around me in the media and in social circles give this album nines, eights, five, 4 stars. I'm always aware of the new album bias and the hype, etc. So I will come back to the score. For me, it's a powerful and mighty 9 out of 10. Maybe if there was something swapped for Drone No Drone or something swapped around with Fragile Thing, it would have been a 10. Maybe maybe I'll be fair and do an unusual rating for myself actually, so I'm gonna change it. I'll give it a 9.5. I think that's a very I don't really wanna overuse the 10 out of 10. I think I've given this on this podcast so far this year, I've given 2 albums 10 out of 10s. If I start thinking about that, I'll probably, to be honest, end up doubting myself, especially on the Churches album. So I really do want to hold off on 10 out of 10 albums unless they are absolutely like this is going to change my life forever. Is this album going to change my life forever? I don't think so. Do I think it's absolutely brilliant and like absolutely fantastic production, absolutely fantastic performances, absolutely fantastic songwriting? I do. I really do. That's it for now, and let's let time kind of see where it takes us in a way. Do I think this is the last of the Cure? Like by the themes and kind of concepts of this album, it certainly thinks so. However, Robert Smith is saying that there's more on the way, but listen, it's taken us this long to get this album. I just personally, I just don't see. I just struggle unless the other album is actually done and that they are secretly toiling away at planning like a similar thing with bands do this. You had Red Hot Chili Peppers the other year doing Unlimited Love Dream Canteen, and then you had System of a Down with Mesmerized and Hypnotized. Unless this is already in the works and the album's already done and just getting released early next year, I just don't see us getting another album. But you never know. I've eaten my words before, especially with the Cure. I think it's best not to try and make predictions really. So anyway, yeah, thanks for checking out my review. Please let me know what you think of this album. Yeah. Please write in, message us on Facebook, you comment on the YouTube channel, on Spotify, whatever. Let us know what you think of this video. This is really taking the wind out of me, to be honest. I'm still on the recovery, so we will end it here. I did say this was going to be a bit of a shorter one. Thanks for sticking with me. It's not always easy to do these on your own. I think I've only really ever done. This is the third released alone recording. There actually is one in the vault, which I was not happy with at all. So it's I might release it one day for a bit of a meme. Anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast. Please give us a follow. Please, whether you're listening to this song, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment, interact with us, give me feedback. Let me know how what you thought of the album, what you thought of my review. Do you agree? Do you strongly disagree? Let me know. Follow us on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. I really need to start working on TikTok. More TikToks. It's got to happen. I just don't get the time for it. Like, with this, I can kind of sit down and gather my thoughts a bit more. Whereas, like, I don't really like sticking the camera up and kind of giving it off the cusp kind of review of something or talking about something or doing silly dances or whatever people do on TikTok. So, yeah. I've waffled on long enough. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.